is. It's the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to the 11th day of February 2025. My name is Nick. There's Big J right over there.
Yeah.
Good morning, Big J.
How's it going, man?
Hey, do you say February or do you say Feburary like it's spelled?
I mean, probably both.
How's that happen? You think?
I don't know. Just
when you think about it, you actually say it the way it's actually spelled?
Yeah.
But usually when you're speaking fast, you just leave out that first R and go February?
Yep.
Well, whatever you call it, today is the 11th. You can't deny that. We can at least agree on those terms, yes?
Yeah, how do you say 11, though? Is it 11 or 11?
I just say Stranger Things and people get it. Welcome to the show. Today on it, we have an opportunity for you to pick out a movie for Radio's Big J. It's a little thing we call Streaming Dumbass. And Big J, it's a frickin' battleground for movies that you have liked and movies you have not liked so far this year. As we sit here in February 11th, you have 2 movies you've enjoyed and 2 movies you've hated. Absolutely said we're a big waste of time.
Yeah,
by
50-50.
tomorrow, one of them is going to be in the lead. Either you're going to love a movie or you're going to hate a movie. And it's up to our listeners to decide which column that goes in. Well, technically it's up to you, but they're going to pick the movie. So we're going to need your assistance in doing that before we hit 7 o'clock this morning. We have yet another concert announcement for you and your family today. That's going to happen in the 7 o'clock hour.
God damn.
Yep. We have an opportunity for you to go to Disturbed, 3 Days Grace, and Seven Dust coming up on the 25th of this month. That's going to happen before the show lets out. We have tickets to the Young Dubliners. And Big J, do you say Dubliners or Dubliners?
Just Dubliners.
Got it. And so we're going to have an opportunity for you to go to those shows over the course of the program today. And of course, Big J, special guest is going to pop by. Jennifer Zielinski. We're going to talk about human trafficking, Big J. It's a serious topic. And damn it, our listeners need to know about it. And know that there is an actual organization here in Idaho fighting against it and doing the good work. And so we're going to do what we do, Big J, which is amplify positive messages in our community by having them on our show and talking about serious topics that impact the Treasure Valley. This show is known for that, I think. Maybe more so than the prizes that we give away and the stories that we tell. I think it's known for the spotlight we shine on our community activists. Agree or disagree?
I think so, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
All right. Listen, from the mouth of babes, if Big J thinks it has to be true. And so I believe, by all accounts, that makes it a busy Tuesday. Is that right?
Very busy.
All right, then I should shut up when you start playing music so we can get into this thing. Nirvana is kicking things off this morning here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J on the X-Rocks.
Important stuff. Launch newsfeed. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Damn it.
I don't think he's here. I think it's just your imagination.
No, that's definitely him. You see him?
Nope, I don't see him.
He might as well come in. He's outside the studio. Come on in. As long as you've got good news. Do you have good news today?
Nope.
Gas
Hey,
Buddy.
it's Gas Buddy.
Gas Buddy, every time you've come the last couple weeks, all it's been is bad news. Does that bad news continue?
Yeah.
God, you're right, man. We're up another 10 cents a gallon this week, Gas Buddy.
Yep.
What? WTF?
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah?
Yeah, fires, tariffs.
I mean, I'm not sure you can blame it on those just yet.
Okay.
Not to say that it won't make an impact. Gas Buddy, weirdly political these last couple of months. I mean, he is coming in with an agenda. Gas Buddy, don't push your liberal agenda on us, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Do you have good news for the rest of the country?
No.
Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, it's not great. Average price here in the Treasure Valley is $3.16. That is up 10 cents. And then an 11-cent rise in the country. That's not great either. Now, and here's the weird thing. Gas Buddy, explain it to me. Crude oil is down, which means gas is cheaper to produce than it was a couple weeks ago. Why are gas prices rising with no transportation issues and crude oil prices so low?
No idea.
Is it corporate greed?
Nope.
Well, I'm glad you're not pushing that agenda on us. Capitalism all the way, right, Gas Buddy?
Yes, sir,
All
Bob.
Get the hell out of here, you. And come back here with good news. For crying out loud. Hey, everybody and their mom watches Super Bowl, Big J. As of history, last year was the largest audience in history. 126 million tuned in. Well, guess what? That was beat out by this year's Super Bowl. 2% increase in overall audience, 135.7 million people. The second quarter, that's when it was the highest attendance. You probably wouldn't be surprised that after the halftime show, Big J, with the Eagles up big, the audience dropped off pretty significantly because it wasn't a very competitive ball game, so that played an issue in the ongoing audience. But at one point in the second quarter of the game, there were 135.7 million people tuning in, which is a new record. Of course, it was on Fox Deportes. It was streaming on Tubi, Telemundo, and NFL digital platforms. So you'd have to try really hard not to have access to the Super Bowl at this particular point, but it has worked out. So congratulations to the NFL and to all of the advertisers who had a record amount of people tune in and see their commercials that they paid an exorbitant amount of money for. And we'll see if that's a diminishing returns. Odds are it probably is. But hey, a lot of people tuned in. Probably would have been even better if the game was a little bit more competitive. But I think people realized halfway through that. I mean, hell, we realized in the first quarter, wow, the Eagles are going to run away with this thing. And they sure did. So it not being a competitive game certainly impacted things in the later part of the game. But it's still lots of people tuned in. Not bad. Hey, Big J. Did you know that Green Day is going to make a comedy movie about their lives?
No, I didn't.
There's a comedy called New Year's Rev, and it is going to be produced by Green Day and Live Nation. And the movie follows three friends on a rowdy road trip to Los Angeles, where they believe they're opening up for Green Day on New Year's Eve. The movie is written and directed by Lee Kirk. Of course, they got some pretty interesting stars involved with it, including a couple of people from The Office. Apparently, the film is inspired by Billy Joe Armstrong's reflections on the band's early days touring across the country in a van. Big J, do you think this movie's going to be any good?
I don't know.
It's going to star a bunch of people you never heard of, so they're not going for star power here. This is like a bunch of kids kind of doing a thing.
But I think like guys our age could probably get into that, just reminiscing about their favorite bands and about what, life was like, all right, vanning it up.
We shall see how it goes. New Year's Rev probably will end up on Streaming Dumbass at some point. Speaking of which, we are going to do that next. It is the X Rocks.
Here's traffic. Deep into the depths of Netflix. It's Streaming Dumbass on the morning after with Nick and Big J.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the Treasure Valley, we need your assistance. Big J would like to watch a film this evening on his very couch, but he will not be allowed to pick out that movie. That responsibility falls on your shoulders. It works like this. We're going to play a round of Streaming Dumbass. I am going to read you the plot descriptions of 3 different movies that were given to us from the streaming platform on which you can find these films. You're not going to hear the title. You're not going to hear the stars of these films, at least not yet. But you will eventually. You have to choose which movie you want Big J to watch tonight based solely on that plot description and that plot description alone. You do so by texting in movie number 1 or movie number 2 or movie number 3 to 208-287-1003. You can do so because you think that movie sounds interesting and you want Big J to watch the movie and report back and see if it's something that you may be interested in. Or you may just want to torture Big J with what you think will be a terrible movie and give him that number. Your motivations are your own. We're not here to judge you. We're only here to have you participate because the more votes we get, the less likely there will be a tie. And I have to break all ties, which means I have to give a biased opinion because I do know all 3 of these movies.
Yeah, you know everything.
So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Movie number 1. An art dealer's life gets upended when his wife leaves him and threatens divorce. He then takes charge of his 9-year-old twins, thrusting them into the world of modern parenthood for which he is deeply unprepared. With his career falling by the wayside, he soon leans on his daughter for support, ultimately becoming the father she never had. Movie number 2. Struggling with the transition from freedom to life in prison, a criminal starts to think maybe life on the inside is a little bit better. But as he awaits trial to turn his life around, violence seems to find him in prison. Big J, you never get out.
Never get out.
Movie number 3. An aspiring actor undergoes a radical medical procedure to drastically transform his appearance. However, his new face quickly turns into a nightmare as he becomes obsessed with reclaiming what was lost. Movie number 1, Love Me Daddy. Movie number 2, Not Shawshank. Or movie number 3, Surgery Gone Wrong. These are your 3 choices. Which movie would you like Big J to watch? Text in movie number 1, movie number 2, or movie number 3 to 208-287-1003. And the movie that gets the most votes is the one Big J will watch. We will release the titles of all 3 movies, including the one you chose. That's happening next on the X Rocks. Smashing Pumpkins and Disarm here on the morning after with Nick and Big J. Let's get to the conclusion of Streaming Dumbass. Big J, have the votes been tabulated?
Yeah, they have.
Is there a winner?
Yeah, there is.
Wonderful. Big J, let's go this route. We haven't done this before. Let's mix this into the pot to stir things up a little bit. Having heard the descriptions yourself, which one of these 3 would you pick if the decision was yours?
None.
That's not how the game works. That's how most of the listeners play. How would you play?
I guess 1.
Movie number 1,
yeah.
huh? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see which one the listeners picked. What movie got the least amount of votes?
Movie number 3 had 0 votes.
Oh, see, that's the one I was kind of hoping you were going to watch because I feel like it's the most interesting of the 3. By the way, there is a running theme throughout all 3 of these movies. There's a couple of them. Number 1, all 3 of them are on HBO Max, or just Max as it's known. And number 2 is each one of these movies have pretty big stars in them. So you would be working or at least dealing with some people that you are familiar with their work. Number 3 is a movie called A Different Man. It stars Sebastian Stan. You may know him as the Winter Soldier, Big J. Mm-hmm. And Adam Pearson is also in this movie. It's a really different, interesting kind of movie. If you get the chance, check out the trailer. It may be something that you're interested in. But it's not a horror movie by any stretch of the imagination, even though I think that's what the description makes it sound like. I feel like it's more of like a psychological kind of terror movie, whereas they have this gentleman that is honestly disfigured and then goes through a surgery to become very handsome Sebastian Stan as he is an actor and starts to get a bunch of roles, but then realizes that this new handsome face has changed him irreversibly, both inside and out, and he doesn't like it. And it actually seems like it might be kind of interesting. So even though it got relate. 0 votes, yes, you are very handsome. A Different Man is the name of that movie. What movie came in second place?
That would be movie number 1.
Movie number 1 is called Goodrich, Big J. It stars the incomparable Michael Keaton. Mila Kunis also pops by. This one is one of those not necessarily feel-good movies. It is about Michael Keaton's wife getting caught up in drug addiction and the family having to deal with that. So feels like it's probably a little bit more depressing than you would enjoy. But I have heard good things about it, and it is available on Max if you'd like to watch it on your own time. Sounds like you're watching movie number 2, huh, Big J?
Yep.
Well, enjoy, Big J. Joker Folie à Deux, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. That is now streaming on Netflix. We saw the original movie in theaters, gave it a very good review. The second one didn't do so well in theaters, but is finally streaming on Max, and so you will get an opportunity to tell us if people were wrong by not flocking to see it in the theater. So Big J will be watching Joker Folie à Deux tonight, and we'll report back tomorrow and let you know if this movie is worth your time.
I'm not in the mood to watch that movie.
I told my Joker story while you were out on vacation, my Joker Folie à Deux story, so you will hear it tomorrow when you tell me what you think of the movie. Morning After with Nick and Big J. If you want to play the home game,
it's go to hell.
Joker Part 2. And it is available on Max. He will let you know right around this time what he thinks of that movie. Morning After with Nick and Big J. And we will do some important stuff as well as we're going to hell. It's next on the X Rocks.
Man, she a legend.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Important stuff brought to you by another opportunity for you to be our guest coming up this Friday, xrock.com, 9 o'clock. We're starting to fire off some great opportunities to be our guest to Gandolfo's Deli. If you haven't tried it yet, now is your opportunity, man. some delicious New York deli experience, bold flavors, fresh ingredients, huge sandwiches. They got some premium meats, cheeses, and breads, and every order is satisfying and delicious, great for a quick lunch or a casual dinner. They even cater if you want to do that. But if you don't like sandwiches, then they got salads, breakfast options, house-made sides as well. So check out Gandolfo's, and Friday, 9 o'clock, xrock.com. You can get $50 worth of gift certificates for just $25. That's redeemable at either Meridian location. So check it out for yourself and be our guest at Gandolfo's this Friday, 9 o'clock at xrock.com. Big J, think back to your childhood. Do you know the first, R-rated movie you saw? Do you remember what that was?
I don't know about the first one. Excuse me. But Cobra was early on.
What year did Cobra come out? 86?
Yeah, I think so.
So you were about 9, maybe 10?
Yeah.
And you saw that in theaters, do you remember?
Yes.
Your mom was there, though, right? Your mom took you?
Yeah.
Did you know instantly, when you were in the theater, wow, I should probably not be watching this? Or were you at the time this is the coolest thing I've ever seen?
No, I'd probably seen some rated R stuff before. I'd probably seen some stuff.
Child's Play, Cobra was at this point to you after seeing it. Yeah,
you don't just randomly pick Cobra, and I'm going to go to that movie.
No, yeah, at this point, you had to have been a Sylvester Stallone fan, I'm guessing, because even to the fans of Sylvester Stallone, Cobra, probably not in the upper echelon of Stallone films, I would say. And so you probably had to seek that out if you wanted to check it out.
Oh, not when it came out.
Well, according to a University of California study, they found that kids are watching way more mature stuff way younger than ever before. And you can thank kids that are 7, 8, 9 years old having their own device at this point that can access that content as being the catalyst for watching much more mature content than we did when we were kids. I mean, when we were kids, mature content was harder to find, Big J. You had to go off in the woods and find some perv's Playboy if you wanted to find some sort of pornography.
Suffer through lines.
Right, or squiggly lines on the TV for the pay-per-view stuff if you wanted it. Now, you're a mere Google search away for the most, awful stuff that you can imagine. And so kids are consuming R-rated and TV mature-rated stuff at a much larger clip than when we were kids. And that is something that maybe you need to be concerned about if you're a parent. If you don't care about that kind of thing, then you're fine. But if you don't want your 7-year-old watching, R-rated content, then you have to be...
If you don't care, you might have a problem on your hands.
A better parent about it. And make sure that you have parental locks on things and screen time limits to help things be effective in preventing that from happening. But, listen, I mean... If you had to guess, if Cobra wasn't your first R-rated experience and you watched things before, you're talking maybe 8 years old, 7 years old, right?
Sure, yeah.
Do you think that impacted you as a person and you're growing up in
I don't know how it couldn't.
For the better or for the worse?
For the worse.
Okay. So we can thank R-rated content for the person you are today.
Psychological science at this point.
Yeah, it's not great. And, it's not easy to police all of that stuff either because every single different streaming platform has a different way of parental locking things out. So you have to be diligent, you have to pay attention, and you have to make sure you're doing your due diligence to protect your kids from those kind of things, or at least wait until you feel they're old enough to consume that kind of content. Probably not surprising, the odds makers believe that the Philadelphia Eagles will repeat as Super Bowl champions. BetMGM has the Eagles at plus 650, the Baltimore Ravens at plus 700, Buffalo Bills at plus 750, and that's alongside the Super Bowl loser Kansas City Chiefs at plus 750 as well. Big J, if I had to give you a couple of guesses as the teams, according to Vegas, have the longest shot of winning the Super Bowl next year, who do you think those would be? The worst of the bunch.
The worst of the bunch?
Yes.
Let's go Cleveland Browns?
Nope.
No. New York Giants?
Yep. New York Giants is one at the bottom, tied at the bottom with one other franchise.
The New York Jets?
20,000. No.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Team that's probably worse off than the Jets, believe it or not.
Worse off than the Jets?
Yeah, so much so that you probably forgot
the
they existed.
Jacksonville Jaguars?
Nope. They're doing better than this team. Tennessee Titans.
Oh, boy. Okay.
20,000 plus 20,000 to win it all next year. Big J, I will admit that I have a soft spot in my heart for old school punk. I've always been a Ramones fan. I feel like a band called the New York Dolls probably don't get the respect that they deserve. But even if you're not familiar with the music of the New York Dolls, you probably are familiar with the work of David Johansen, their lead singer. Yes, Big J?
Yeah.
He was also an actor, probably most famously the cab driver in Scrooged. Am I missing anything off the top of your head that you know him from?
Yeah, I can't think off of the top of the head, but that is definitely the most famous role he probably had.
He is announcing that he is battling stage 4 cancer and currently has a brain tumor. The 75-year-old punk legend's daughter has shared the news of it on his health struggles. They have a fund in his name and is seeking to raise money for the singer's ongoing medical care. He was diagnosed 5 years ago at the beginning of the pandemic, and it has progressed and it has gotten really, really bad. And of course, you may not believe this or not, but musicians, famously musicians, don't have great health insurance, Big J. And so David Johansen can probably be considered a founding member of a movement of music and is asking for fans' help in his battle against cancer. And here's hoping that they raise the funds that he needs, because I'm guessing that once he goes, Big J will start to finally respect the impact he had on the musical landscape and rock in general, Big J.
Don't count on it.
So hopefully he's doing okay and he gets everything that he needs and David Johansen can get better.
Were you about to rest and power him?
I was about to, but then I changed my mind.
He's not dead yet.
Not yet.
Jesus.
It was an accident. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Hey, there's your important stuff. We're going to hell. It's next on the X Rocks.
Up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
Let's not kid ourselves. I'm going to hell and you know it.
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
Big J, Valentine's Day is Friday. Agree or disagree?
Yep.
It's approaching. So why don't you rattle off some things that you consider romantic that couples can do for one another?
That they can do for one another?
Yeah, for Valentine's Day.
Massages.
Okay, that's definitely up there for sure.
Yeah, let's see. Chocolate.
Okay.
Dripping chocolate.
Dripping chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hard candy shell. Going to dinner. Doing it.
Okay. How far down on the list do we have to go before you get to doing it with your partner in broad daylight in front of a Wendy's as motorists pass by a Clearwater, Florida highway?
Oh no, that's not Valentine's Day. That's
No?
like a Thursday.
Oh, all right. Well, that's not what Demetra Wilson and Tamario Morel, Demetra 53, Tamario 29, said when they were caught in the act this last Saturday in Clearwater, Florida. They said that it was a Valentine's Day fantasy, and so that's why they wanted to do it in front of God and everybody right there in front of the Wendy's on Highway 19, Big J. Officer Parker Moody was driving by the Wendy's when he spotted Wilson and Merrill lying on the ground right behind the bus stop there in view of the busy highway, Big J. Now, the bus stop is in front of a Wendy's restaurant, and it's right by U.S. Highway 19. Wilson didn't have any pants on, so he was unencumbered by that, but it was on the right side, and then her butt was facing the actual Highway 19, Big J. And then we had the gentleman's pants pulled down as well, and they were repeatedly engaging with one another. You understand what I'm saying, Big J?
Yeah.
So the couple was arrested and charged with performing unnatural and lascivious acts. Now, Big J, one would argue sex is about as natural as it gets.
I would say so, yeah.
You would think you should call that some sort of different charge. Unnatural seems crazy, but maybe it's unnatural to have it in front of a Wendy's. Unless, of course, Big J, the Frosties turn you on, and then all bets are off.
Right.
But these two, both of whom have lengthy rap sheets, remain locked up. They are still facing some charges. They have each pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanor charge. Seems like that's fighting a losing battle. I mean, if you're caught literally with your pants down, feels like guilty is what's going to end up happening here, right?
Yeah, you would think.
Maybe they have a bad public defender. I'm not exactly sure. But if that is on your Valentine's Day list, maybe want to vote against that. How about that?
Sounds like a good idea.
You think to vote against it?
Yeah, keep it behind closed doors.
Got it.
For the rest of us.
Or at least, listen, as long as time has been a thing, getting it on in public has been a fantasy, I think, for some people. But there still are a little bit more respectful and quiet ways to do it and still hopefully get that rush, than just right there on the sidewalk right in front of a highway by the Wendy's. That's just like turning your nose up at any kind of law and order,
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, at least it wasn't in other worse places, like schoolyard.
Okay.
Playgrounds.
Yeah, I guess if you want to look on the bright side of things, that's true.
Gymnasiums.
Although it was a Saturday morning in front of a Wendy's, so kids could be grabbing themselves one of those Wendy's breakfasts that you endorsed for so long.
Yeah, breakfast Baconator.
Turned off by what was happening in front of said Wendy. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Hey, there's your We're Going to Hell story. Concert announcement for you. That's happening next on the X Rocks. So wherever I may roam here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Always nice when we can give you some details about a really cool band coming to town and bringing some really cool people with them. Let's give you a concert announcement.
It's another 100.3, the X concert announcement.
Big J, who's coming to town?
Yeah, this is totally awesome. Coming June 3rd at the Knitting Factory, part of the X's 30th anniversary concert series presented by the X. The Afterglow Tour, headlined by Sleep Theory. Awesome.
Really cool band that have been here a couple of times around opening up for people, but finally get to headline at the Knitting Factory, and that's pretty awesome. Tickets, of course, are going to go on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com and KnittingFactory.com. We will have your hookups for free, but it's always nice when we can welcome back Sleep Theory. Enjoy some Fallout. It's the X Rocks. There's who's coming to town, man. We just announced it as part of our big concert announcement this morning. Big J, all the details, please.
Yeah, hitting the Knitting Factory June 3rd. We've got Sleep Theory. Coming with them is Never Tell the Oxymorons Stray View. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m., Nick. It's called the Afterglow Tour, and it's going to be awesome. I saw both the Oxymorons and Sleep Theory together doing a showcase a couple years ago in Vegas, and they were both phenomenal. This is going to be a great show.
Yeah, we had tried for a while to get both of them through as part of the Free X concert series. Oxymorons had played here once before, Sleep Theory a couple times before, but always nice when they can team up and you get to see some really cool, amazing music. So circle the calendar for June the 3rd. Get ready to buy those tickets, and they go on sale on Friday, and continue to listen to the X for your opportunity at some free tickets, won't you please? Thank you. Morning After with Nick and Big J. On the way, we got some important stuff as well as your Pop Culture Smackdown. Reminder, going to be out and about today from 11 to 1 at the brand new Walmart fuel station at 155 South Middleton Road. Adam going to be out there broadcasting live as we celebrate the grand opening of a brand new Walmart fuel station. But the big news is what you can win if you join us out there today. $500 gas card up for grabs. You get some samples, some giveaways as well. We'll also give you a chance to win some Disturbed tickets on February 25th. But I tell you what, man, if you want a chance at $500 in free gas, join us today out there at the Walmart fuel station, 155 South Middleton Road in Nampa. Adam going to be out there broadcasting live with Walmart Fuel and 100.3 The X Rocks. We got some important stuff next on the X.
Globe in search of news. Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Big J, a couple of colleges teamed up to do some surveys and studies on social media, and Santa Clara University and Northwestern University found out after they analyzed more than 100,000 social media comments and found that sarcasm and satire actually does more damage to the person that is posting it than actual facts, Big J. It seems like if you're funny about it or you're making fun of somebody, it tends to hit a little bit harder than the facts do. Why do you think this is?
Probably because it's hard to tell sometimes.
What do you mean?
Sarcasm isn't always clear to people.
Well, that seems to be something that registers more than actual facts do, I guess, is the point. Like, sarcasm and then making fun of somebody seems to be more effective way to take somebody off whatever pedestal you think they're on than hitting them with facts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, calling somebody an idiot is way more likely to get likes than it's like, well, actually, this is the truth, not the other thing around. And so that becomes a problem, maybe. And of course, that leads to additional, I don't know, trouble on social media. That's probably one of the many reasons why it's a cesspool Agree or disagree, Big J?
Yeah, agreed on that.
And so it's probably not going to get better anytime soon with studies thanks to that. They're not encouraging it. They're just saying that's what seems to register more with the general public, which does seem to make a whole lot of sense as to why things are the way they are currently today. We dig right into, we seem to attract ourselves more to insults and boisterous language than we do with actual facts.
Lord knows I have.
Well, we made a career off of it.
I mean, idiots is one of my favorite things to say to people.
Well, keep riding that horse, Big J, till it bucks you.
Trying to be a better person.
Aw. As Major League Baseball players start rolling into training camps across Florida and Arizona this week, they're going to see some familiar threads in their lockers. Remember last year they had the new Nike uniforms that flopped so bad the company had to return to its pre-2024 uniforms?
Yeah.
That means larger letters, heavier fabric, pants tailored to players' preferences, and road grays that just don't show how much a player is sweating. So everybody seems to be fairly happy about that, but they weren't able to improve upon those at all. So they're technically new old uniforms is what they're doing. They're going back a full season. And it's it was a problem all last year, and now they're changing it back. But they didn't make any improvements. They just went back to the old one, if that makes sense.
Was there something wrong with them to begin with?
Yeah, they were just they used a material that did not do well with sweat.
No, I mean the previous ones.
No. Nike paid a bunch of money to Major League Baseball to make new uniforms, and Major League Baseball took that money, and then they made the uniforms, and they all were awful. And they're like, this is just not the same fabric or way that we need to put these together. It's just not right. So it was a money grab that turned out to be a disaster. Now they're going back. Still taking the money, by the way. Just no new uniforms. Going back to the old ones. Big J, what do we have in common with Amy Poehler?
We like Parks and Recs.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing. Anything else?
We're funny.
All right. Let's go for the third thing. Come on. Comedy happens in 3.
We're blonde.
No.
I don't know.
We're all podcast hosts, Big J. She is launching a new weekly podcast called Good Hang with Amy Poehler in March. It's kind of like a Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend kind of thing.
I gotcha.
Every week she is going to have somebody on of celebrity ilk and talk about things that you could only get in conversation with Amy Poehler. So if you are a fan of the world of Parks and Rec or enjoyed her time on Saturday Night Live, that could be a new podcast that you add to your list. And so we'll see how that goes. I'm guessing she'll do just fine. Agree or disagree, Big J?
Yeah, I think so.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. We got your Pop Culture Smackdown on the way on the X Rocks.
Culture Smackdown. Right. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, we got a nice prize here. Tickets to Disturbed 3 Days Grace and Seven Dust. That show happening the 25th here out at the Ford Idaho Center Arena. We'll get you lined up with those tickets if you can beat Nick here in Pop Culture Smackdown.
208-287-1003 if you'd like to try for these Disturbed tickets along with 3 Days Grace and, of course, Seven Dust. And you think you know a little bit about the world of popular culture. Big J, any particular area they're going to have to know harder than others today?
No theme or anything.
Well, then good luck, everybody. You're not getting any help from Big J. Hello, the X.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, who's this?
It's Chris.
All right, Chris, you're up first, man. Good luck.
Chris, what famous celebrity slapped Chris Rock while he was hosting the Oscars?
Better be Will Smith.
Will Smith. Nick, what position does Harry Potter play on the Gryffindor Quidditch team?
Nope, I have no idea.
Is it seeker, keeper, or beater?
Seeker.
Seeker is correct.
Right.
I gave you a little help there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's the name of Sherlock Holmes' constant collaborator? Is it Winston?
It'd be Watson.
Okay, Watson. That works too.
Now on CBS.
Robert Wagner starred alongside Stephanie Powers in this 80s TV drama.
Heart to Heart.
Heart to Heart is correct.
Right.
Let's see here. Prior to Friends, Jennifer Aniston starred in a failed TV series based on a hit film. Which one was it? Was it Top Gun, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or Look Who's Talking?
Oh, gosh. Let's say Top Gun.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry, man.
Sorry, man. Thanks for playing, Chris. We appreciate you. Hello, the X. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello? Oh, my God. Hello?
I'm here now.
Okay.
Oh, man, thank God. Are you all right?
Spring part.
All right. Prior to Friends, Jennifer Aniston starred in a failed TV series based on what hit film? Was it Top Gun, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or Look Who's Talking?
Top Gun?
It is not Top Gun.
Wrong. The delay gets another person. My God. Hello, the X.
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. Here comes Big J with your question.
Prior to Friends, Jennifer Aniston starred in a failed TV series based on a hit film. Which one was it? Top Gun, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or Look Who's Talking?
Look Who's Talking?
Nope.
Wrong. Yeah, it's how failed this TV series was. Nobody even knows it existed, but it is not very good. Did you ever watch it?
I did. I never have.
Bad.
No.
Hello, the X.
Anyone?
Hi.
Hi. Here's Big J with your question.
Prior to Friends, Jennifer Aniston starred in a failed TV series based on what hit film? Was it Top Gun, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or Look Who's Talking?
Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah. You know, from Friends.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
There you go.
She played the Sloane character in the TV spinoff. It was not good. That is correct.
Nick, Jennifer Aniston had a very famous godfather. He was a TV fixture in the 70s. Who was it?
Is that all I get?
That's all you're going to get. I already added extra hints earlier for you. So
Okay. My first guess is Peter Falk, Columbo. The only 70s person I can think of
you're
right now.
really close, dude. You're really close. Wrong. Who loves you, baby?
Teddy Savalas?
Telly
Savalas.
Yep.
Right. Telly Savalas. Kojak himself. Well, congratulations, man. We didn't get your name. What is it?
Holly.
Way to go, Holly. You've got tickets to Disturbed, 3 Days Grace, and Seven Dust on the 25th. Hang on just 1 second. We'll get some information from you. And make sure you're all set there on Pop Culture Smackdown. Well played. Always nice when we go through a couple people. Jay makes me feel better about myself.
There you go.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up, we're going to talk about something very important here in the Treasure Valley and how you can help. It's next on the X. Hey, welcome to Paradise here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Always nice when we can provide a spotlight for a really cool thing that has been going on here in the Treasure Valley. It's an honor and privilege to welcome into the studio Jennifer Zielinski. Am I saying that right? It turned into a tongue twister all of a sudden. Jennifer Zielinski, she is the executive director of the Idaho Anti-Trafficking Coalition, which has been around in the Treasure Valley here for a while. Jennifer, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And, you know, we may have some people coming in that are aware of the human trafficking situation that are listening, but maybe didn't know that Idaho has its own anti-trafficking coalition. How long have you guys been here, and why is it so important that you do what you do?
We've been here for about 6 years, and we really launched as a coalition to get the community involved. We didn't anticipate this was going to be such a prevalent issue. This past year, we assisted 227 victims of human trafficking, the highest number that we've assisted so far. And we had a 54% increase in demand for assistance. And so we know that this is a real issue. We're seeing it firsthand, but it's very underreported, very underidentified. And so, you know, we're working really hard to just get the word out.
You know, I think part of that is that there's just a misconception, a misunderstanding of what trafficking is. And a lot of people, a lot of the public think, you know, they think the movie Taken and that it's an international problem. It's not here. It's not in Boise, Idaho. That's not, but it is. And that's the thing. That's the first step, I think, is trying to misspell that misconception.
Yeah, you know, it crosses every, jurisdiction. It crosses every sector. It's in our schools. It's in our community centers. It can, intersect with various businesses. We have a lot of fake storefronts. We have a lot of business structures that, behind closed doors are exploiting people. And so this is where the money's at. And if you have, an epidemic of drug trafficking, you're certainly going to have human trafficking.
Yeah. And, Jennifer, we were talking before we got on the air. It's amazing what the IATC does. you talk about not just identifying a problem and then trying to prevent it, but then there's the aftercare involved with the victims that are a part of this. It's not like you just identify the problem and then, wash your hands of it. There's a lot that goes into making sure the people that you find out are a part of this have some sort of path once it is discovered. And that's a big part of what you guys do, right?
Absolutely. And, the reality is that assisting someone is not a one and done. You don't just assist one time in a crisis situation and then you're, like you said, you're out. We had a 230% increase in housing rent assistance this past year. We could not have anticipated that, and not something that we budgeted for either. And so with that massive increase in need, we don't want to have to turn people away. And we certainly don't want to have to say no, and then they end up back, in a vulnerable situation. So right now we're really, really just pushing our community continuum of care campaign. And that is an opportunity for us to get involved within the community, but also encourage people across all sectors to get involved in this organization to firsthand directly assist victims of human trafficking. So that would assist with transportation, housing, food, clothing. It assists with any necessity to ensure that someone isn't vulnerable and falls prey to this horrible victimization.
It's a great program that you guys run, and it's a wonderful thing that you are doing to make sure that you're bringing awareness to. If people want to get involved in this campaign, what's the best way they do that, Jennifer?
The best way is go to our website, idahoatc.org, and we have a whole page designated to this campaign that we've launched, but also we have resources. We have various topics, information on there. And certainly if anyone is in need of assistance, they can call our crisis hotline, 208-630-6601. And we can assist. Our crisis hotline runs 24/7, and we have case managers that manage that. We don't cap any of our services either, so case management will help assist with resources, relocation, we help with transportation, all assistance to ensure that someone is safe and then ensure that there is that continuum of care.
Sure. And I imagine, it's also not an easy situation to be in. I'm sure there's a lot of fear involved with that original contact, and especially reaching out and making sure they're doing the right thing. And so training resources, the people that are answering these phones, there's a lot that goes into making sure you have all of the tools ready for the people that reach out to you, I imagine, right?
There is. And we're a direct contact with the National Human Trafficking Hotline. So if anyone wanted to report a tip, they can do so at the National Human Trafficking Hotline. They have a tip line. They have a crisis hotline as well. So we work directly with them. So that coordination of efforts is really imperative as well. But yeah, these are individuals who are typically in crisis, fleeing a situation. And this crime is the most horrific crime out there, and one that really does warrant fast action, and also warrants an entire community to come together and assist.
Jennifer, we've talked about how the resources have kind of become more important over the last couple of years. Has the increase in population in Idaho made the problem a little bit more prevalent as well? Have we seen the amount of cases go up the last couple of years too?
We've definitely seen the cases go up. I think that it can have something to do with population increase, but it can also have a lot to do with outreach. Opportunities like this to really inform the community has to do with our Continuum of Care campaign, and also an initiative that we launched to really partner with businesses and organizations across all sectors. In doing that, we have over 75 community partners who now can properly identify, properly assist, and then coordinate those efforts too. So I think there's just a whole slew of reasons why we're seeing an increase, but it's definitely here. I think we just really need to understand and agree that this is an issue here in Idaho. It's not an international issue. It's not necessarily out of state. It's here, and it's breeding, and it is a low risk crime for criminals right now. They're not the ones on the front lines. The victims are. So forced criminality is something that the community really needs to be educated on.
It's an incredible service that you and your coalition provide, and whether it is your volunteering of time or your funds to help this go forward and bring it to the forefront, it is certainly appreciated. Jennifer, the website one more time?
idahoatc.org.
Check it out, get informed, and give what you can to help out as much as you can so that this can continue to go on. Thank you for everything that you do for the community. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you both so much.
Of course.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. We got some headlines on the way on the X. Headlines brought to you by Walmart Fuel. Going to be out today. Adam broadcasting live from 11 to 1 out there at the brand new Walmart Fuel Station in Nampa, 155 South Middleton Road. That's where you'll find us today, broadcasting live from 11 to 1. We're there to celebrate the grand opening of that Walmart Fuel Station, which means you get some samples, you get some giveaways, maybe you could even win some Disturbed tickets. But Big J, the big reason you want to go out there today during your lunch hour, $500 in free gas card somebody's going to win.
Awesome.
That's a big deal if you're keeping track. So join us today from 11 to 1, the brand new Walmart Fuel Station, 155 South Middleton Road. That is where you can find Adam broadcasting live, and that is where you'll find 100.3 The X Rocks. Headlines are as follows. Come on out of there. Finders, keepers, and Bad Monkey.
Finders keepers.
An unexploded World War II bomb was found in a children's playground in northern England, Big J.
Oh, no.
After workers began construction on Scott's Playing Park. A full survey of the area uncovered 65 10-pound practice bombs and smoke cartridges just on the first day alone, another 90 practice bombs on the second day. Further excavations are planned to make sure the park is absolutely free from unexploded ordnances. The area was once used to train the Home Guard Volunteer Army, which is why all those were there, but I guess they just forgot. But that's a lot of bombs, Big J, a lot of practice bombs.
Yeah, are they inert or?
I don't know, it doesn't say. I mean, they're practice bombs. I don't know what makes bombs practice. But they found 145 of them, so that's a lot in 2 days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But hey, listen, at least they found them and beforehand and not, kids playing around on the swing set going, what's that, Daddy?
Or when they're making the park.
Yeah.
The poor construction guys.
That's true. Come on out of there or Bad Monkey.
Bad Monkey.
The entire country of Sri Lanka, Big J. Have you heard of this place?
Of course, yeah.
They lost power on Sunday, and they're blaming a monkey because of it. Apparently, a monkey came in contact with their grid transformer, causing an imbalance in the power system, according to the minister there. However, some social media users were not convinced and see the power outage as a sign of bigger problems. And apparently this is the second power outage in the last 3 months that lasted a full day. Both of them have been blamed on monkeys coming in contact with grid transformers. So now they're like, is this happening all the time? Can we just keep the monkeys out of our transformers, maybe? Also, I mean, I'm just guessing, probably doesn't work out that great for the monkey, right?
No.
I mean, like, that's a catastrophic event for the monkey, am I right?
Yeah, yeah. But, a delicacy there in Sri Lanka, fried monkey tail.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, you would know. Wrap it up with come on out of there. An Oklahoma teen who ran away from home ended up sleeping in a toilet paper fort unnoticed for days. 16-year-old Christopher Dunham was reported missing by his grandparents, and when he was finally found, he confessed to camping out in a Walmart by building a toilet paper fort around a dog bed and then sleeping in it. The police chief says it's one of the most bizarre missing person cases he's ever seen in his law enforcement career. The Department of Human Services met with the teen who suffered minor injuries. How? How does he suffer minor injuries from his toilet paper fort, Big J? Or was he knocked
around? Minor injury?
I don't know. Maybe he was knocked around by the Walmart employees when they found him in the toilet paper fort. But also, where do you build a toilet paper fort in a Walmart that goes unnoticed? Like in the middle of an aisle, maybe?
Well, no. Somebody's got to walk down an aisle.
You would, well, not like the middle aisle, part of like one of the wider aisles. So you like just set up something where something isn't there. And doesn't somebody see you do that?
Apparently not.
I don't know. But a pretty good plan. And I'm sure he probably had his run of this place for a while. He could eat something, get some deli items. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your headline. You're up to date on everything. You got your bad impressions. They're next on the X Rocks.
Bad impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
And we got some tickets to hook you up with here for a prize for bad impressions. Young Dubliners are coming to the Knitting Factory Friday, March 7th to get you ready for St. Paddy's Day with the Young Dubliners. Always a great show. So we'll hook you up with those tickets. If you can figure out bad impressions today, it's a real person, real celebrity, Nick.
Real person, real celebrities, real prizes. 208-287-1003. If you'd like to play the game called Bad Impressions, it works like this. Big J is going to give you 3 clues. They're going to point you in the direction of somebody pretty famous. If you can figure out who that is, congratulations. These tickets are yours. To the phones we go. Hello, the X.
I'm here.
Well, congratulations,
Yeah,
man. What's your name?
Jason.
All right, Jason, you're up first.
My band has retired from touring a couple of times, and we've had a couple of farewell tours.
Okay.
I opened a restaurant in Vegas called Dr. Feelgood's Bar and Grill.
Okay.
I'm the lead singer of Motley Crue.
Vince Neil.
There you go. You nailed it.
Good job, Jason. Hang on one second. Big J, your best Vince Neil impression. Go.
I just did it.
No, I want to hear you sing. That's pretty good, man. Why is Vince Neil in the news?
Not for great. It's not great news, Nick. We usually have to deliver bad news here, very bad impressions. But yesterday, news broke that there was an accident at Scottsdale Airport, and Vince Neil's private jet crashed into another parked jet when it was landing. And one of the pilots of that plane was unfortunately killed. Another pilot injured, and then Vince Neil's girlfriend and another woman and their dogs were on that plane. Everybody else made it out okay. Vince Neil was not on that plane at all. And early reports, Nick had told me it's a weird coincidence that he ran into Vince Vaughn's plane at the airport. Now, some reports are saying that wasn't necessarily true, but that'd be a weird coincidence.
That would be strange. 2 Vince planes running into each other.
But man, it's not good out there in some of these airports right now. So it's scary. Scary.
Yes, you're right. There's too many things happening with planes to my liking, but this one appears to be something that happened completely on land. I think now complete conjecture and guess on our part, but Big J thought maybe a medical event had taken place. I bet you that's right, that the pilot unfortunately had some sort of medical event that caused this to happen. It can happen, when you're behind the wheel of anything. That could be dangerous if you have a medical event happening. So who knows? That's just our guess. You never know until the details come out. Or Big J, because it involves celebrities, maybe we'll never know.
Yeah.
Could it be one of Scottsdale, Arizona's biggest question mark? Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your bad impressions. We wrap up the show here next on the X Rocks. That is Dead Poet Society. That is Hurt, and that is wrapping up the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Thank you for selecting a movie for Big J. Tonight he will be watching Joker, Folie à Deux. And he will
hate me, man.
Report back. I don't hate you.
Yes,
I'm not
you
the one who
have to
picked
hate
it.
me to. Yeah, you picked it to be in the mix of movies.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty big movie that came out,
But
dude.
you know I did not want to see it.
Nobody wants to see it.
Right. And
But
so
that's
if
not
the
how it
roles
works.
reversed, I would not do that to you. I would not pick a movie that I knew that you did not want to see.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, because it's happened before. Yeah, that's right. When
Yeah,
you had
probably as revenge
Well,
for all
listen.
the damn times you do it to me.
Hey,
a thoughtless friend.
Turnabout is fair play. And so he will be watching Joker. Although I did tell you, I went on the record, I wanted you to get movie number 3, and not a single soul picked it. So don't get mad at me. If it was a tie, you would not be watching Joker Folie à
You're
Deux.
still the gatekeeper of the movies in the selection.
But
so
I wanted
you
to go after the
ultimately
theme.
have the responsibility.
It was a big movie. You cannot deny that. And you complain when they're just small movies that nobody's ever heard of.
That's not true.
And then you complain when
That's
they're
not
big
true.
movies that you just don't want to see.
That's not
But you'll be watching Joker Folie à Deux, and that is what he will report back on tomorrow. And maybe you might like it. You never know, dude.
Highly doubt it.
Well, when you go in with preconceived notions,
My
you taint
percentage is
the
about
property.
90%. When I see something, I'm like, I think that looks like crap. And then there's a 10% chance that I'm wrong.
Sure, but this could be one of the 10%.
I don't think you've got two things going for it. One, I didn't want to see a sequel to the first movie, and it's a musical.
Yeah, but you've come around on musicals.
Sure,
now.
but not in. Yeah, no.
Also,
I highly doubt it.
having seen this movie, it's not as much of a musical as you think.
Thank God.
And so it's gotten way more music than the first one, but I think it'd be hard pressed to call it a musical. But that's my opinion. I don't want to taint it any more than that. He'll report back tomorrow on that. Special thank you to Jennifer Zielinski for popping by and talking about the Idaho Anti-Trafficking Coalition. Really cool, really important coalition that does some great work here in the state of Idaho. Make sure you check that out on the podcast if you missed any of it. And we gave away some Disturbed tickets. That will continue tomorrow. Big J, that leaves you with the floor, sir.
14 years ago, we had Stone Sour in studio for next session here. That's awesome.
That was really awesome. It was nice to have, I don't think anybody else other than Corey Taylor is still in that band, right? That was in the studio with us.
Yeah, you're right. Now, Josh or both
Jim,
the guitarists are no longer in that band.
So Stone Sour has a different look 14 years later. But Corey Taylor was still in it. That was a fun day.
Yep.
And it was a lot of fun to have a really cool, awesome X session. That was in advance of their show. I believe it was at the one with Avenged Sevenfold and Hollywood Undead at the Pavilion at the time.
Amazing.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. That's your show. We will see you tomorrow. Jason Drew's up next. It's the X Rocks.
Now it's the